Je me rappelle vraiment pas quand j'étais vraiment petit. Et je me rappelle à partir de 4-5 ans, je jouais tout le temps. Donc voilà, il restait que moi et mon frère. Et moi, je savais que j'avais le foot et je savais que je pouvais faire quelque chose. Donc je me suis donné plus les moyens.
It's Kennedy who headed it, claims of a handball. Referee says no. City players absolutely certain. Play goes on and they've scored anyway. Kelly again. Managed to get the cross in once more, and there's Coombs, and that's 1-1.
Jacko! Oh, that's the best of the bunch! He has saved the best till last. Edin Dzeko with a sumptuous goal.
So welcome back to half-time in our FA Youth Cup tie between City and Brighton. City leading by 2-1, and you have to say that it's been a terrific first half. Just before we start to talk about first team matters, let's just quickly reflect on what we've seen there, Sean. Undala, what a talent.
Yes, really impressive. His pace, his agility, his confidence on the ball, his one-on-one skills. Also, there's been times when he's come inside, he's received the ball in low pockets, and has been able to just maneuver his body to go right, left, and find space to then get turned and then face up. And whether that's sliding the ball or just driving again forward, it's been really impressive. And also Lawrence on this side as well. The two of them are really asking questions of that Brighton defence. So some really good stuff.
Of course, the game has seen a goal from Undala and an assist from Undala. Talk us through the role Undala plays in this Dixon opening goal.
Wow. What I like about him is once he receives the ball, he runs in behind. And again, when he sort of, if I'm remembering right, he flashes that one across for the assist. And for me, it's just brilliant play because he runs in off the line. And this is what you want from a wide player. It's times you need to run in off the line to receive it and create that trouble. His other goal, wow, it was absolutely brilliant. The skill that he's done to beat the defenders. He's driven in, he's put the ball on his left foot because they don't want it to come on his right, and that finish was immaculate.
You have to say, there was about 35 minutes in that first half when it just looked like City were going to have a procession of chances and maybe swamp Brighton, but they started to come back into the game and they equalised through really some determination, some good driving force, some good play, and then of course a penalty call, which difficult one, wasn't it? Yeah,
difficult one. And just in regards to the penalty, I think the defenders going up alongside and he's planted a foot in the anticipation of the shot. And whether he's touched the player or not, I think the referee's bought it. I don't think that he's tackled him firm enough to say, I'm tackling you. So I think the referee's bought it. Penalties there, and he stuck it away. So well done. But I think they brought themselves into the game in terms of it was always going to be their determination, their ability to try to stay compact. When they win it, can they create those odd attacks? And they have been. And they've just had that 5 to 7 minute period where they were getting these attacks, probably a minute or 2 minutes after each other, which brought them more into the game.
You have to say it wasn't against the run of play when Brighton equalised, but they, even from the centre, that the kick-off straight after that goal, Brighton won the ball back, started to have a go at City, even in the last few seconds of the half. So when the ball breaks at the other end of the pitch to Undala, you're thinking, can he do something special? My goodness, can he?
Oh yes, he can. And again, not normally we counter-attack on the opposition, but because they were getting their heads up and thinking, oh, we can go on and and push and push. City counter-attack on them, and Dala receives it, and again, it's all him at that point. He's driving forward, great bit of 1v1 belief in himself, shifts it to the left, and a brilliant strike.
There's so many things we could talk about in that first half, but Undala has been the star performer. What in particular do you see in him?
Well, I think naturally, just he's an athlete, you know, his ability to change directions in such a short space, the ability to go right, go left. The defender cannot live with him, and that's just because he's that much more superior as an athlete. It's his speed, his ability to just go across the defender when he wants, and also technically with the ball, he's got this ball close under control. So even though he's quick, he's not moving the ball 5 yards out his feet. He's actually got the ball very close, going left, going right, going back left again, and it's very difficult to defend against.
So a fantastic first half between City and Brighton in the FA Youth Cup. Of course, we'll have the second half live for you in a few moments' time. But we're going to reflect now on first team matters, and it's very difficult not to reflect on the weekend's Manchester derby, the 189th Manchester derby. Sean, before we get on to specific incidents, just generally speaking, particularly in the light of you know, the disappointment of the defeat at Southampton and one or two other things, what did you make of City's overall display on Saturday at Old Trafford?
I thought it was all going according to game plan in terms of, I felt that City's plan was to keep the ball, sort of kill United with 1,000 passes, in that if you keep the ball for so many passes, it doesn't allow the crowd to get into the game. It doesn't allow an atmosphere to be generated. And here you see, this is the actual goal. Mahrez to De Bruyne. De Bruyne then clips it across, and Grealish, who only just come on, probably almost close to getting my 9-second goal, coming on as a sub. But what a header. He comes on, and this is all going according to the plan. Again, this is brilliant play by City. Mahrez, beautiful ball to De Bruyne, making that signature run, and wow, signature quality cross by himself. And Grealish is just thinking, this is how I want it, right here on a plate, and just hits the target. Absolutely beautiful.
Right, let's be honest, Sean. I mean, there was a period in that second half when the Blues were in total control. United weren't coping with them. We always talk about the need for a second goal. We you know, when you're on top, when you're dominating, get that second goal. Was that the only thing missing for you on Saturday? That
was the only thing missing, and I think, I have no doubt, that will be the one reflection that Pep would have thought. We needed that second goal, and he'll probably reflect and think, where could we have gone a bit more forward or aggressive in the final third to go for that goal? Because for me, it was total domination of keeping the ball, keeping the crowd out the game, just going forward, then bringing the ball back, and United not knowing a stick or twist. They wanted to press, but knowing that if they did press, we'll pick them off. So in terms of how we control the game, I thought it was absolutely going according to plan. And I'm sure you'll probably ask him, but then we get that whole situation. But for me, I think the plan was absolutely spot on. We just needed that second goal, and that would be the takeaway. Could we have gotten a second goal somehow and all that domination of possession?
Well, you've already started to allude to it. We come to one of the most controversial moments in Manchester derby history, really. I mean, it's a goal that has been analysed and looked at, and I've heard 1,000 different opinions of exactly the same thing. But let's be honest about it, Sean. When that ball is played forward, I thought, Michael Brown on commentary thought, that's just going to be offside. Did you?
Well, there we saw it, just the frame there. Yes, I thought it was offside. I was also interested to hear former players' viewpoints, and everyone that I've heard have all pretty much said he's offside. The ball for me is just too close for Rashford. It's too close for Rashford for him to not interfere. And I also think when the ball is going through and Rashford then thinks, oh, Fernandes is there. If that was on the other side, meaning Rashford could shoot with his right foot, Rashford does not leave that ball. It's because it's on Rashford's left foot. Rashford thinks, oh, I can leave this because it's on his foot. I'm not sure if I'm offside. All that sort of equation and working out is happening at that sort of speed. And I just think it's a really, I think it was an easy call and a bad call, but, you know, it's going against us and we live with it.
Just before we leave that goal, there's one thing that struck me at the time, and it's not gone away since. And all I'm thinking about is Ederson, because Ederson is thinking to himself, the danger is coming from Rashford. So his whole positioning, all his body is towards where Rashford is. He probably doesn't even see Bruno Fernandes, does he? And to me, that's the thing above everything else. You can make arguments about would Walker have done this, would Kanji have done that. But for me, the thing that proves that Rashford was interfering is that Ederson is focused purely on that.
Exactly. His body position is set that Rashford's going to have a shot with his left foot. But as the ball keeps traveling and Rashford doesn't touch it, but it's within his reach to have a shot or to touch it, to dribble. But he doesn't. And for me, I just think it was an easy call. I think it was an easy call. And you're absolutely right. Addison's position is taken off of Rashford's position, and that Rashford is in on goal, even though he's offside. So it's disappointing. It's a tough one for us to swallow, because again we were playing brilliantly, and that really, I don't think they got a second goal without the first, because the crowd gets involved, they start to cheer, the players start to get a little belief, and before you know it, a tackle jeered them up because they felt, oh, we're getting closer. And that's how they're able to get a second goal, just from that. So tactically, that's something I learned in watching that game. Pep absolutely spot on in terms of how we dominate. Again, we're seeing her. You see the crowds into the game now. They're now in the final third. He does a wriggle. Fortunate, goes under Ake's foot, goes across. Rashford's there, tap in. All on the momentum. It's all on the momentum. I think they don't get that second goal without the first goal.
I haven't played the game at your level, but I know from my own experiences, and not just from football, but from other sports, momentum is such a huge thing. And as human beings in that situation, you feel a sense of injustice. You feel that you've been wronged, and just for that little moment, that little 2 or 3 minute period after that goal, you could sense that things had changed, couldn't you?
Well, yeah, momentum is exactly it. And they got their tails up. They got a little belief. You know, they started making some noise at Old Trafford, and the players have an extra yard. Where they were 5 yards short when they were going to press and not getting near, all of a sudden they're within a yard, and that they're getting close. They deflect. They're getting a little something on that pass that deflects it, without winning the ball back, and truly that momentum swung just from that period. So it's a tough one to take. I thought tactically, Pep is brilliant. I thought he got it right, but it's unfortunate we can't control situations like that in terms of the referee. I thought it was an easy call, but he didn't think so.
Well, you have to say United are in exceptional form, and it was a meeting of two heavyweights. And again, there's another meeting of two heavyweights on Thursday night when Spurs come to the Etihad Stadium. Spurs have got this hoodoo, this sign over City. What is it about Spurs that have caused so many problems for the Blues?
I think, in terms of why they've been able to do it for a period of time, I can't quite answer that. What I can say is Harry Kane knows the best manager in the world wanted him, liked him, admires him, and there's no better feeling for him as a player coming to the Etihad to play against a team that plays the best football and say, I'm going to show the manager and everyone around the world why I'm a good player and why he wanted me. So he comes always feeling confident. I think Harry Kane is key to when he drops. We need to get people around him to snuff out his passing, because his passing is quality when he drops deep.
OK, well, of course, we'll be bringing you our usual Matchday Live coverage on Thursday. But that's not all we've got for you. We've got this second half coming up in a few moments' time. But we've got plenty more to keep you entertained on City Plus and Recast in January.
Je me rappelle vraiment pas quand j'étais vraiment petit. Et je me rappelle à partir de 4-5 ans, je jouais tout le temps. Donc voilà, il restait que moi et mon frère. Et moi, je savais que j'avais le foot et je savais que je pouvais faire quelque chose. Donc je me suis donné plus les moyens.